Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and today we are on episode 4 of our weekly series on what we've been reading this week. I really have to find a better title for opening for these episodes, but whatever. So yeah, I don't think we had many like different series this week. To be fair, all of them are weekly that I read, so it's like we do get a lot, but I don't know, maybe it's the fact that we have two series that have double chapters this week, or at least the two, was able to get into the same two chapters I managed to read this week for one series individually, but yeah, I don't think have that many, but still we have a lot. It's probably just more like a note thing. So yeah, anyways, let's start this week's reading with the two series the series that I've read. There actually were two chapters released in this week's part of time. With Shadow House chapter 888, Enemies and Allies. So this is kind of resolving the cliffhanger with Douglas in the last chapter. But with John continuing the plan and hoping things turned out, which all right, things are, which to be fair, things do turn up for Kate's group and faction. I think we even get like a first page is like also telling us who everyone is working for and all that on Kate's team and all that, and how their loyalties lie. But the only thing to mention at the beginning, although they continue the plan, is the fact that we also get a special what Matilda's ability is, because unlike others, we didn't have it before this, because because when everyone else was doing those challenges with the Star Bearers, Matilda was just collecting stamps and running around, so Matilda wasn't kind of showing off. So in this chapter, we do have a showing up where we have Matilda's little soldier being there as they send him over there to get the key, but because there was no key, Matilda explains that her ability was the fact that she gives orders to the soldiers and they have to act on it. So if there's something that cannot be done, like for example, soldier walk through the door, walk through the hallway, but the hallway is blocked because the door is closed. He will not be able to enact that action because he doesn't, he cannot open the door, or he doesn't process that he has to open the door beforehand, because in this case there's no key, so the soldier cannot get in because Douglas hasn't dropped it. They assume that Douglas has already dropped it before he ended his mission, but he didn't, so they're kind of stuck there. And they don't know what to do now. With Douglas then just sitting there, and he's kind of having like a little mini flashback. Well, not flashback, but we can't expand on what we've already stated. Like, we have Douglas's time as a star bearer, well, not star bearer, as a new house, a new shadow in the house with that king, the character who's in the beginning of this action. Well, this action post on this arc. The guy who was like supposed, the guy who's very arrogant, douchey, and all that. We see how he was when Douglas was a part of it, how he was beating Douglas's face as well as the shadow, to a point that he actually, I think, permanently scarred Douglas's shadow face, like not the face, but like the shadow though. So yeah, the guy was really fucking brutal. And then we get how he became a team leader and how he'll do it, and we have the introspection, but Douglas's face when he has that retrospection kind of gets a bit of a epiphany about deciding of things. Like, I mean, Kate and Candy may be, Miliko and Candy may be intruders and all, but it's not like they actively are doing anything to harm everyone. Because like that's the kind of thing. Like namely Kate, isn't really an anime. She doesn't want to hurt everyone, but she's kind of thrown into a lion's den, and you kind of need to protect yourself. So all the negative things that happen to people are less because of her and more, well, they're in a situation where they're gonna get hurt. So yeah, it's so Douglas's face realizes gets the epiphany and says, no, we need to do this. It's for Kate's plan. She's nicer, and while Edward may be, acting nice to them in this situation, it's not like he can, it's questionable how much Edward's gonna be taking, how much nice Edward's gonna be acting prolonged. So Douglas's face actually, continues and ends the plan, which even sucks Douglas a bit. Like, wait, we're still going with this? Because the shadow that's brainwashing Douglas's face has a bit goes away. And it's actually a very nice little like panel of this where you have Douglas's face having like the shadow eyes, but then once he decides, no, we have to help Kate, we have to go through with this. His eyes become the beautiful. They disperse the shadows, and you get like this shine to Douglas's bright blue eyes, which I guess that's the reason why Douglas's eyes are bright blue. So yeah, we get like this. It's a very it works. The fact the shadows does has a digitally colored is digitally colored where their chapter releases because it emphasizes and makes these things a lot nice. So when it comes to stuff like this, because again, like this will work like in a manga format, black and white. I feel like this would be the least well done because there's no because you can only make so much of an effect to show on the shine. So it makes sense. So like I said, continues the plan, but also while he's saying that, he tells, "Thank you, Edward, for showing us who our enemies and allies truly are." Which Edward seems to think, oh, he was referring to him, and kind of maybe. I'm assuming this. I was also kind of worried that maybe Kate was starting to work on Douglas, so maybe he revealing that was kind of like, all right, you're gonna work, or I'm gonna bring you back in, kind of deal. So yeah, Douglas. It's kind of all this bullshit, and he can now be considered like a full ally. I'm assuming they're probably gonna guess that he continued to help. I mean, I'm not entirely certain if he like destroyed that thing or if that thing's still like in his arm or something. But regardless, Douglas helped and did his part in the mission. And Matilda's doll managed to, in the last second, because Matilda's doll cannot last for very long because her abilities are relatively weak. Like not even a combat weak, like just amount being weak. But regardless, Matilda does Dole throws the key to Ram, and Ram is able to use it to get Lou and Louise out, or at least we hope that's gonna be the case. Because in the next chapter, chapter 189, titled Unification Ritual, let's just say things do not go well. But yeah, anyways, this chapter starts with Lou and Louise being in that place where they, I guess, have the rituals happen, which is just a very uncomfortable place. And like, no wonder that Lou and Louise are kind of like scared, comforting one another. As Edward starts the process, well, in the process is basically like, make normal coffee, but put a I'm not certain. I think it's supposed to be a larger part of a shadow or whatever they're putting in the brainwashing tea or brainwashing coffee, but a larger amount of it. As in, you take a larger dose of caffeine in a coffee. As he prepares for the two and gives it the two, where Louise has the white cup, while Lou has I think the black cup. I think that's how they explain. Also makes kind of sense. Which actually, which I think, actually, I'm not that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about the last chapter is the fact it's revealed that the way the part of celebration for the coffee is actually a new thing that the Starburst commits it because previously it was just, you were given coffee at normal meal times. I just feel like mentioning it because maybe it'll be important later. Shout like one of those sets where they do leave seeds earlier on, but now they have to, but then they utilize them. But regardless, Lou and Louise, well, drink this, and it does work on Lou completely. Like Lou is completely into that state as she starts chanting the song, or Albert starts chanting the song, and then Louise follows up because of finishing the lines, all that. And doing this, I would actually reveals that he is like what he is. That he does the whole shadow covering the face and then revealing the normal face. Not certain if Louise knew that beforehand, because I'm kind of blanking on how much knowledge they had. I mean, I don't think Kate ever saw it. I mean, we know Barbara knew about it, so I'm assuming. Like, I'm not entirely sure how much. Like, I think children are not meant to know that they faces and they become one. I mean, that's just something the Star Bearers are the only ones allowed to know it because they're gonna be the next ones. So I'm not, I'm not saying if Kate to reveal that to everyone or if Kate even knows that part. So, but regardless, Louis sees this and she's like, kind of shocked, like, wait, what? I guess maybe the reason why Star Bearers are revealed and she's still not be shocked and be questioning it too much. But regardless, Louis able to keep her composure while they do that, and Louise and Lou starts doing the commencing, and then at the end, Edward does his part, and he just leaves. Where Lou continues to chant, but Louise has to shut her mouth, and like we're not doing that. Even as she was using her suit power to take control of Louise's mouth, so she would not do that chant. And while we're having that. To prevent the whole thing. And then luckily she's still able to take command of Louis, so her plan now is just going to be like to burn the suit power out of her. Like just do exercises. So they kind of like spend the whole time doing exercises, which doesn't look very appealing in the scenario. Like the place isn't really built for it. I don't know if they even get a shower. I mean, it seems to just mostly be a empty room. So yeah, Louis is just kind of is trying to like burn all that suit out and all that, and it does like somewhat delay, but inevitably it does remain because, in the final day, Louis is just kind of exhausted from all that. Also, in case you're wondering why Alma didn't notice it, is because Louise was kind of secretly doing it, where she like didn't fully sit, like she was somewhat like closer, but still straight, properly, like she's sitting properly, but I was saying secretly. So yeah. Anyways, Louise's plan is trying to, it kind of fail. Like she can only keep it for that long because again, no, I don't think they are being kept specific gaming completely. And also, there's a big chunk of it. I imagine the bigger the amount is, the worse it does get. I'm not even surprised. It's kind of like a hint for the future because remember the shadow the on the third floor we mentioned that the coffee can solve all of their issues. So I could see them like saying like, just to be safe, let's put extra amount coffee in to make sure they'll not do anything stupid. So yeah, I could see something like that happening. Uh, so we'll see if that comes back later or not, or how quickly that comes back later in this type of series. And yeah, anyways, then when Edward deems it like it's good enough, maybe he kind of knew Luis was gonna do this from the beginning because Edward is intelligent when it comes down to it. So maybe he was like, "All right, Louise exhausted herself now. Now we can actually start a proper thing." But I'm not exactly certain. Regardless, we have Louis. We have Lou and Louise undress each other. Well, we have them two being undressed, like they are in their birthday suits, basically. As we have the two going into this coffin, and they get in, and then basically the plan is for them to be in that from the understanding they are supposed to stay in that coffin. Lou continuing the chant, and then Louis going inside and covering it and hopefully being compatible with it. Yep, I mean, and merely speaking, we should have seen that coming. I mean, it was kind of implied previously since when we were doing that mystery attacker thing with Rose, Rose God and all. You could have kind of assumed, but this is kind of because I believe I don't know if we see the coffin, but we do see the part with that with a failed unification experiments, like screaming in pain and misery, corpses like dying and blood, not blood, but like it's messy that because it didn't work. So when the cocoon was opened, the thing process. So this is kind of what is going through it. And Luis is too like exhausted, and it doesn't really work on Lou anymore. Like they didn't manage to burn the coffee away enough. because Louis is like, Lou, I do not like this. Let's get off it. This is boring. Let's do something else. And Louise doesn't work. It's fully compromised. Louise is too tired to continue with her suit manipulation. So Louise just kind of makes it, and it's kind of like starts to force it. And it's actually a very nice little, okay, nice panel in a chapter format where it's like this panel where we have Louise saying, "No, we should do it. We should do it for the great." Where it's kind of like the inverts of the volume. I think this. I'm not entirely sure how the chapters work with our house, but we had like this chapter, like the last volume that was revealed was like Louise. Well, Lou staring at Louise as uh, Louise holds her face, and this is kind of like here where it's like this kind of similar format, but instead of Louise being mirrored in Lou's eyes, it's just pure shadow. So yeah, it's like one of those things as Louis as it's Louise mentioned something very interesting where it's like, well, Lou mentioned something very interesting. It's like, but we will not do this for the sake of the great grandfather. Instead, we will do this for the sake of the great for the great Christopher. As Lou's like, wait, what? Why are you talking about great Christopher? Why would anyone want that? Is there some interference? As we see here that the one that in the outside of the coffin, we see Lewis breathing into it with his suit power, saying, "For the sake of the great Christopher." So yeah, Lewis is interfering with the thing. Also, serious question: is Lewis a reference to something? I mean, I might just be thinking general 90s, 80s comedy shows. I mean, I haven't watched them, so I'm not entirely certain, but I feel like this is a reference to something, but I'm not entirely certain what. I get that instinct when I say it, like, Lewis! But regardless of if that's a reference to something that I am forgetting right now, we have Lewis interfering, and I'm not entirely certain how this is gonna go. Like, I'm not gonna, like, because I don't think Edward has any hopes for Lou and Louise to actually unify, because they are very young. Like, they are, I mean, they are. I mean, I don't think they are like the youngest in the Shadow House, because I do think there have been a few new additions between from the start of the series and all. But still, like, Louise and Lou are very young, so it was not going to. So there's a very low chance of the unification actually working. And now Lewis is interfering with this, so we'll see on that front if this is gonna be like a thing, like is when Ram is gonna come in, or it's gonna be over, or it's gonna be like Ram going to come in, and then because Lou doesn't seem to be able to hear what Lewis is speaking, so if so if Ram comes in when Lewis is doing his little mischief, I could see her kind of like being kind of like in this horrible situation. When how does she react? Because it was kind of weird if I random faceless though just randomly popped in. So we'll have to wait and see how this is gonna go. But I could see like this, like the little seconds of between like interfering could like give an opening, maybe like Louis for, so physically like prevented it all. I could see the thing just going through it. I mean, Shadow House does have a lot of disturbing moments. I would not be surprised if we actually do have Louise or Lou dying. I mean, for crying, and if anything, that would kind of show them how serious the story is going, where one of the main characters for the longest time is actually dead. But we'll have to wait and see until the next chapter to confirm it, which I feel like might just be quite some time, because again, like, Shadow House is not a weekly series. They have like, I think, all times like 3 chapters a month or so. But we have to wait and see on that side. Like, I don't think it's just like a translation thing. The reason why we got so quickly. But anyways, let's get away from this depression and the very big possibility of murder with This Time for Torture Princess, chapter 223, titled Torture 223. So this is a simple chapter where Princess wants to have a bat with Axe that she could resist the torture, but Axe at this point is like, "No, you'll submit. Like, this is torture. This isn't vanilla, who is half the time too love struck to for actually go through a torture or her understanding of torture is wrong. Like you're definitely going to submit to food. But Princess reveals actually she came up with a scheme, as if they ever work, that she said before the last torture of the week. Of course, on Friday of course you only have 4 tortures 5 times a day, with Saturday and Saturday and when no. I'm blanking on the name now. Guys, but the final 2 days being just free for all, which is even like the act says, like, well, you want free prisoners, the fact that you have the entire weekend to yourself and do whatever the fuck you want. But yeah, she says that she set Mount Black on Friday, but she ate Mount Black on the weekdays, so she'll be satisfied. So there's no way that torture would be able to make her eat the Mount Blanc. But then torture shows up with tofu and I think it was some kind of fish topping. But it's like, wait a minute, on Friday I said Mont Blanc, so why isn't it Mont Blanc? And Dr. just reveals to her, but Princess, you ate a bunch of Mont Blanc last week. I saw on social media. And all. It's like, oh shit. And she's like, oh, I just instinctively wanted to post it. Which, to be fair, even if you did post it, the chances of you being able to resist it are very, 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 very low. And the scheme is basically over, and Princess does try to resist it, but it's Princess. We know she's not gonna resist it, and she gave in to new information. Which, if it's gonna be the same type of information that's been for the entire series, it's gonna be so useless. It's gonna either be useless, or is it gonna be interpreted as being, oh, it's a good thing, or it's just gonna be something that's useful, but the Demon King is like, or Demon Lord is like, no, it's scary. No, it goes against our morals. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Anyways, then we get to the other series that had 2 chapters released in my weirdo time frame, and that's 100 Girlfriends That Really, Really, Really Love You. Which is kind of disappointing because chapter 168 is like one of those chapters that I feel like would work a lot better on its own without being released this quickly. But I mean, there is like but I do understand why. It's like this is like one of those timelines where it's like either it's gonna be released on Monday or a day before that. So, oh yeah. Anyways, we first have chapter 168, our Rento Snapshot Swap Party. So yeah. No, anyways, we have this is basically the girlfriends have like a bunch of different pictures. Some I think are referencing previous events, but some are just like completely brand new. Where we have the characters swipe pictures that they got of Rento, which do not worry anyone. Rento will give consent; they can take pictures of him. 9 says that Hakari's was consensual, or it is just more, or should have been consensual, or should have been double checked to be consensual, honestly. But whatever. We have that's what's going on now, as we have them going through it. And while they are going through the pictures, we see a girl that has like a black. Well, it could be some other color. Like I think pink is also used as with black sometimes. But because we see a girl with a black giant sweater with a bunch of bunnies in their pockets with a bunny tail actually as well, and kind of like a little put hair, like little bun like tail where it kind of makes it look like rabbit ears, and she even I think has like an extra long tooth appearing there, and she's kind of be like, oh, isn't this great? I wonder what kind of pictures everyone's gonna have. What do you think, young maybe Chan? Yeah, maybe Sean? Yeah, I think your name is Sean. And then the other is like, yes! As he blankly stares. Because the thing is, like, in this kind of like a rhyme bit, we have a bunch of characters like showing pictures, you know, how like they have different things, dressed up and all that kind of thing, where they show different pictures of Rento related to their action, to their interests. Like Kurumi has picture of her as picture of him as eating, and she eats a lot. And Tama has like a cat theme with her. Was you ever fun about Tama? Because the way she first phrased it makes it so like, oh, someone was hitting on her like a person, because Tama is she's a short stack, and she's Tama. Like we've seen her bazookas. So people were like, wait, was that okay? Is because Rento was like protecting her, but then but it's revealed he was actually scared of an actual black cat. Like this implies to me that actual cats are into Tama, which honestly I'm not entirely certain if Tama isn't a hybrid at this point. Like, I mean, I was kind of disappointed with how human baby Tama looked like as a baby, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Tama looks very cat-like, especially when it comes to like chibi form. She straight up just looks like a cat. So I'm not entirely convinced that Tama is not a cat. So yeah, and throughout the entire chapter, we just have this new girl, this new character just kind of appearing, and no one being said about what's her name. As we have also is kind of one of the most innocent girls because well, everyone has had like a very goofy, over the top of reaction picture of Rento. Currently just had like a simple picture of him, which people all of them are like, well, I mean, it's simple, but I mean, I would want it, but I think it was two actually. It says, I mean, it's a simple picture. I do want it. It's just kind of supposed how simple it is. I mean, to be fair, with Kanye, his picture it would even be a simple picture or a very broken picture of him being in a hospital picture, which would be kind of funny if that was the case. Like, I was like, here's the picture of him in a hospital bed, completely with with every single one of his limbs broken completely. But I mean, we already did that joke once, so maybe we didn't want to reuse it. Although I think it's been a while since that joke was made. But regardless, we have Karane doing that picture, well, a simple picture with him. Uh, so it's kind of like one of the more innocent ones because like every time we have like these more individual personality thing, I think Karane is always on the more innocent side. And so we point this out because a couple, I think it was after Aqua joined chapter, or not sure if this, like some more that period, we had like a chapter where we had all the most purest of girls, like Yamame, Shizuku, Meme, Mei, and Aqua all being going like a party, like the most innocent ones. So it's kind of weird that Karane, consider the fact when it comes to a lot of like her own personal things, she seems to be quite innocent. Like when it came to the expression of freedom, she just had a simple cutesy dress. Then when it came to like dreams, she just had a dream of them being in heaven and kissing one another. And here we have her just taking, I mean, a simple picture, which kind of makes me think she's on the more innocent side. But I don't know, maybe it's because she gets involved with a lot more pervy stuff, and she's not like Meme, who's like shy about it. Maybe that's the reason why she's not counted on there. But I would pretty much put her in like the sixth. Or I would definitely put, if you had to rank them, I would definitely put her on the sixth, so they're very close to those pure maidens, those pure five maidens. Who knows? Maybe she's gonna be on that team at some point. I will not be surprised. But yeah. Anyways, doing those pictures, we get to that one that's been around this entire chapter. One who's not was the running joke in this chapter is the fact no one knows her name. Like everyone just kind of yes, it just stares at her. And she gives a picture of Rento, but the way that she describes the picture, as well as the picture that's being placed, it's like one of those very off to the side pictures. So now even states that this is very much a picture that was taken by an outsider. At the end of the chapter, Rento shows up and he sees this new girl. As he looks at her, and he's like, "Who are you? Who is who?" Because I guess he was hoping that he would do the same thing the other girls were doing, especially what we discover in the next chapter, where he was just kind of we were like, oh, we don't remember your name. Who are you again? And I wanted to ask her, which is actually they addressed it, like saying the reason why none of them question it, like with the exception of like the last right before Winter shows up, where I think one of them was like, okay, I'm pretty sure there's one more person here than there usually is. But then when Winter shows up, they're like confirming that. Oh, wait, is there someone? Wait a minute, is there? We didn't. Oh, the reason we didn't know her name wasn't because we forgot that her name, but because we never even. This is the first time we met her. Of course, this makes more sense. I guess they were more worried about being horrible girlfriends if they forgot one of their other names, which this kind of confirmed to me that at the very least, whenever the new girlfriends are being introduced to the rest, they do not meet until Rento introduces them. Like this kind of thing, I was wondering, do new girlfriends just wait upstairs to get the introduction, or if they just group up with Rento, because it's kind of like not really go into details all the time about like what's going on, like the initial fact that Rento already has a bunch of girlfriends. Like some bring it up, like Momoha and Mine, the other one. Those two were informed of that fact, and they come here because they make scans because of their personality and their quirks. But the other ones we don't. I think the last one was actually the first time we had like a girlfriend interacting with a girlfriend previously, right before the introduction. Like Kishika, before that we had Kishika mentioning the fact that Kirsu, it looks like an 8-year-old despite being 18 in her in third year. So yeah, this is like so we have that realization. So yeah, this confirms at the very least that first that the girlfriends do not meet before Ento introduces them. Anyways, we end this chapter with no Zing, and that's even referred to as the scary part. And then we leave it on that for the next chapter, chapter 169, titled "The Girl That Slipped Right into Rento's Family." It'll make more sense once we get through this chapter. So we find out that this girl's name is Usami Shina, which is actually something that people were throwing on as a name because she has a very obvious rabbit aesthetic. Like the teeth seems to be longer, the kind of like bunny ears that she has, like not fully bunny ears, they're very tiny, not comical like Thomas cat ears are. Like she has like a little cat bunny kind of aesthetic, as well as like the very heavy bunny attire, like with the bunnies in the pocket and the rabbit's tail. So yeah, Sami was something that was being thrown around. And Sheena is, from what I've found out, refers to not wanting to be alone or some kind of I'm lonely or something. Like I'm blanking on the exact pronunciation now, but regardless, it's supposed to be some joke on her aesthetic, which is gonna be she cannot handle being alone. And as soon as Usami opens her eyes and sees Renta, because that's how the last chapter ended, with the two of them not having eyes open. Like Usami goes to say hi to Renta, but she has her eyes closed. And then when Renta says, "Who are you?" he also has his eyes closed. Like, and then in this chapter, when they all both open their eyes, they get a zing, which is something we all assumed. Like, remember everyone. Because remember everyone that as long as there is some excuse for why people haven't seen each other, haven't seen eye to eye, there's always a way for them to be a girlfriend. Like remember, May's reason why she hasn't fallen in love with Rento, despite being in multiple chapters with him, even look at him face to face. If you've seen even look at him face to face, is because she always had her eyes closed. As soon as she opened her eyes, that's when she felt. That's when the zing happened. It's even funny with May, because because May has always had her eyes open, but because she was so angry at him hanging up with her dear older sister, she never properly looked at them. So even if you see them with their eyes open, and there is always a way you can get in. Like that in that yokai double chapter thing, where we find out, like, I think I'm not sure, I think it was one of the teachers or one of the hats. I don't think I'm forgetting if she was a teacher or just a hat of like club or whatever, who has like a yokai in her name. Like she can become a girlfriend, and the excuse or the reason would be it was dark. They didn't properly see each other. The same reason why those guys did not realize, oh wait, these aren't the other half of the yokai research club who we are supposed to be scaring today, because it was too dark to tell. And for some reason they play along with it still. I'm not even going to ignore that. Like, why did you play along with it? Like, did none of that cause you any suspicion that one was trying to scream about flat wall? Who are you calling a flat wall? One's trying to trying to stomach. Like, the fact that Kishika played along with being a baby. Why? Is that club just filled with Rento copies or something? Rento family copies? But alright, that's a chapter in the past, and we will not be talking about now. Let's talk about the current chapter. So basically, we get the zing, and now we have to ask, like, why did you do? What the hell is going on? I even got scared a bit, which is fine because she can kick Usami. Like, Aya, you can kick her. I mean, she's a bunny, so she'll die if you kick her. I guess that's the reason why she's got scared. She instinctually knew that that's a bunny, so she cannot kick a bunny because a bunny would die if she kicked him. Makes sense. Ironclad. Probably going to be mentioned in a talk about something, like in those extra pages or something. So yeah, I could see that thing because we don't have her being reacted to the fact that Usami's like a bunny. So, anyways, Usami reveals to us that she suffers from a severe need of being around other people. In fact, she feels like she'll die of loneliness, which I think is something that rabbits do get. Like, if they are too lonely, they will die of loneliness. I'm not gonna say how accurate or scientific that is, but apparently I heard that is a thing. So that's the reason why she's a bias now, because she's so lonely that she cannot handle it. Which also, because of her loneliness, creeping loneliness, it's also the reason why a lot of people don't kind of go away from her as soon as they become friends, because her loneliness makes her very clingy, and if she's too clingy, people kind of want, oh, you're too clingy, time to go away. It's kind of like Michiro from Miracle-chan, where whenever she got a friend, she was kind of a little too obsessed with doing stuff for them, like to a point that, it's either going to a river to find their hats that fell down, or, looking for a pen, then accidentally cutting it, like stuff like that. So most people, after some time, got tired of Usami and just kind of left her. We also find out that Osami is indeed second year, but she's in class 6 instead of 2, like Mimi is, which was something people were wanting. Like, we need someone that's in class in grade 2. So yeah, I do want to know that if Usami is gonna be transferred to class 2 instead of being class 6 because of her, creeping loneliness. And I imagine that, with Hahari there, I feel like she would be like, oh, by the way, you'll have a problem with being lonely? Alright, I just gotta have you and this one swap names, and blah blah, you are now in class 2. You're now in class 2 with Mime, so you don't have to be lonely. Just hang around Mime for the entire time. And Mime is gonna draw in a bunch of attention, so you'll never be lonely. It's probably gonna be a chapter. This is probably gonna be like the Tama chapter where everyone kind of assumed, oh wait, why wouldn't Hari just adopt Tama? So like a lot of chapters we could wrap into this one, basically. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why. And she also mentions, like, she compliments the family. She saw how close and clingy they all are with one another. So she thought if she snuck into there wouldn't be any issue, because like there's a lot of them and they are constantly hugging and doing stuff. Which is something that everyone kind of mentions that this makes sounds ridiculous when you actually think about it, how clingy they are with one another. But it's true. So yeah, then Asami is like also like properly asks Renta if she could be his girlfriend, because she wants to be in Ham and all that. But then Renta wants to say no because, which it'll be explained, we'll go explain later why he first refused. But Osama, well, he says that she kind of feels like there's no one around her. Everyone kind of, I don't want to say everyone hid behind Rentaru, but it's like everyone kind of shift position. Usami and Rentaru kind of shift position where he's close to the girlfriends, but Usami is alone because she's not properly a part of the ham yet. So the creeping loneliness of being alone kind of start to hit her in as Amina decided to bolt it for the nearest place with a bunch of people that she's cramped in. She would be cramped in. So she kind of starts crying and panicking. I'm alone! And she kind of runs away as Venter's just chasing her. And we get like a little joke here that where Rento, where the vice principal is there. She's like, oh, I am starting chasing. But Usami and Rento both start walking him. Oh, King pass her because they know they'll be in trouble. And Usami also stopped crying a bit, which for us, she does stop crying, which is a good thing. I think she'll cry too much. But we got Tonto in trouble, to be totally honest. So yeah, we have the two, after they leave the school, running again, with ending up in a train station with them both slowing down. It's not to be a disturbance, but there's also a guard there, so didn't want to get in trouble with police. Yeah, we have to wait for the police girlfriend to show up. So, yeah, they go into a train station and she goes down, and they're just like, all right, which way she go? Because he was far behind her. Because the thing is, she's also like a fast, like a rabbit. She's very much a rabbit. I'm already now saying there's going to be a chapter where, or in Enter Daily Life, where we have Tama uh, and Usami kind of getting along because they're the two cats or the two animal hybrids of the Param. I can only see Element one time being like, "Should I take you to a vet to get your shot or something?" I will not be surprised that does happen. Honestly, I would. I am not entirely convinced that those two will not be confused for pets. I mean, taking their and being getting their shots. So yeah, when so she's anyway she hits herself. So she's in a train car with a bunch of different people and a bunch of genders, which is something that Renda did not expect because she was like, "Oh wait, that's a woman's only." She went there because I couldn't follow her. And so I'm like, this is, and the train's like, no, this isn't working. This is not even though this has enough people. She's like, so please surround because trains in Japan are super full. This isn't work because she was busy with those guys. Now she's just a bunch of people who are just like forced to be crumpled up with her. Like it really shows how much of a rabbit she is. But happily for her, Rinto shows up to like comfort her and help. But then the whole train thing is kind of it's a train. It's a bunch of people there and they kind of like shoved. It's like a very small space. Like this isn't the rooftop of the school building, people. This is very limited. So everyone's kind of like shoving each other all over the place, and Rento's like, "Let's get out of here so we can talk better." And then Rento and Usami apparently are going to left at on that station. I think they are on a different location, so they have to go went back. Thank God they had money on them or the cards to get past or whatever. But anyways, Usami is in again all low because now in a kind of abandoned station, which I'm kind of surprised with how packed trains are supposed to be in Japan. I'm not surprised there even is a possibility to be empty, but even on the train station that we had to running, it seemed a bit empty. But regardless, she's starting to getting a panic thing and like you're going to start dying from being alone. But the mentor hugs her and completes his thoughts that he said previously. Basically, he rejected her kinda, but this time he explains that it was like, I do not look. I want you to be my girlfriend, but I do not want you to love me, be above this harm, just so you could be with everyone else, just so you can be hugged by everyone, just so you can interact. I want you to love me as your boyfriend. Like you want mutual beneficial love kind of things, not just like I just don't want to be a bunch of people, which to be fair, she will die. Funny thing, Usami will die either if she's all alone and die if she doesn't marry Rentaro. I mean, that's what's been actually killing her, the fact that she wasn't with Rentaro, which makes me kind of wonder how quickly those, that love, I mean, the god said they are gonna die if they don't end up being his soul, meaning him and all, but I do have to wonder how much Rentaro can actually, how long is exactly the waiting period before Rentaro dies? Or before the girlfriends die because they didn't meet Rentaro. Well, regardless, Usami responds by just kissing him back, and yeah, they are officially home. Which I think this is like one of the few times where a girlfriend actually kisses up him, Rentaro in the same chapter that she becomes his girlfriend. So, anyways, we end this chapter off with Rentaro doing the whole introduction thing we usually have with the girlfriends, which it seems a bit unnecessary since they don't matter, which could be a thing that Karani mentions, but kind of focus more on the fact that yeah, we kind of see that coming, like how he chased after her and all. So yeah, Usami joins the harem. We end this chapter by having them all hug as we have their hearts in Usami's eyes. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be drawn by a bunch of people, with a bunch of in crowds. So she's gonna be happy. I'm just imagining that we're gonna have like a bunch of like background art with her hugging someone constantly or something like that. So we have to wait and see on that front. And probably a chapter where we're gonna have her transition to Mimi's class. It just makes sense. But yeah, anyways, also the next chapter is gonna be a Mei and Momoha chapter, which I think we're gonna get Momoha in a maid outfit. So great job for that. In case anyone's wondering, is because we already got like a chapter with old girlfriends hanging out, so it's kind of set to have another one. You do not want to overuse Usame, if you know what I mean. I think in the ham there, in the chapters that are usually introduced, we have like I think there's a break between chapters, and then until we get another Usame chapter. So we're one, two, three chapters, and then Usame again, which could be the joining Mimis class chapter. So yeah. Anyways, we now have My Academia, chapter 416, titled "Wrench It Open, Izuku Midoriya," which ironically enough isn't that much of a Izuku focused chapter, all things considered. Really, it's not that much in it. So yeah. Anyways, we start this chapter off with everyone to join, but Ectoplasm, being the responsible adult he is, despite his hair costume, like again, it's a hair costume, but come on, dude, like I'm pretty sure you're rank amongst the heroes that look like villains. Look at your costume and all that. But Ectoplasm brings down the logic or reality on this, which is like, one, it's too far away. You cannot get there by feet. Two, two, the recreation centers that I think I even mentions do not work. They doing the battle between W and Gigatomakia, they got busted, and they are kind of, and they are pretty much like everyone that's in them right now is also in danger kind of situation. And three, Aries' power hasn't returned yet. She cannot utilize it like she should have, which is always something that people were wondering, like, why didn't she do it? Her rewind power on Aizawa and all that. And the reason why is simple. It wasn't stored up enough. The amount she used on Lemillion to so he could get his quirk back was too much, and now she is kind of without that. So even if she somehow broke the fabric of reality and got to Izuku, she would be useless. She'd just be a burden because she couldn't use the powers. But then we have Kota showing up, and he comforts her. He holds her hand, which doesn't, and she does use his name, so it leads the two of them have talked to each other. I'm not entirely certain if this is the play. I mean, we've seen the kids in the kindergarten with their teacher, so I'm not entirely certain if they were also there or if they were in one of the recreation centers. But I would imagine that all the kids are kind of put together to be, raised properly together or something like that. So I'm not surprised that she knows his name. But anyways, one thing that really does make me more notice is the fact that Kota again refers to Deku as a crybaby, and says because I myself am a crybaby, which consider how much her Koshi has been having captors refer to Deku as a crybaby since the time skip, or since the previous war ended, does make me start to wonder if Kikoshi's just making fun of the haters of this sport, like oh, you guys make call Deku a crybaby? Alright, I'll have every character make fun of him and call him a crybaby. Are you happy now? As he's going through who knows what kind of insanity. It's kind of like one of those, big important things are going on. Big character moments, big personalities, big decisions, big actions, all that. But Izuku has tears in his eyes. Let's call him a crybaby for it. Again, I kind of feel like he's making fun of them at this point with how much he has characters talking about it or referring to it and mentioning it. Like, it wasn't even that big of a thing. Like, I think it was like just a beginning of the story thing. I don't think that Izuku has been, teary-eyed or anything like that for a while for a good chunk of the middle portion of the story. Like, maybe when he was like super freaking hurt in like very impactful moments, I think that's where he was. But it's more like, to show the force that's being used there than anything else. But yeah. So after that, we cut more to from that to a bunch of what's going on around the world, around Japan, as we have the evacuation. The tomb that was designed, everyone kind of helping the evacuation, and someone even saying, if you are not gonna, anyone who can help, and you're not helping, then shame on you. As you have Gento like immediately jumping, not Gento is not saying this, but Gento basically helped land the thing, and then he's like immediately like, okay, do you need any help to cement us? And someone's like, go inside, help them, because you're an able-bodied 30-something male. You're one of the most, you're on a basic scale, like one of the most most capable of assistance in that sense, in its normal sense. So you have that. As we have like a bunch of helpers, we have the film crew still filming everything. Like, this is our contribution to the story. Filming shit. People are dying. People are bleeding. People are barely even walking, and you guys are filming it. Shame on you. Just shame on you and your fucking pompadours, whatever that hairstyle is. So yeah, what while everyone's injured, we even have Momo. I think we have Kaminari look at his phone as Momo is helping him carry. As Kaminari, even though he's in his dazed state, like state, he kind of has he grew to a point that he can still keep his mind active. So he's like, Momo, you know that scene in manga and comics where you have that moment where some side character like him or Kashima will say something like, I believe in him, I trust he'll be able to do it. Why is it that I'm not confident and I'm worried to the hell for his safety? Does that make me a bad friend? Which I feel like is kind of a surrender job, like kind of thing of being more pointed out of a little thing where like you guys do at least feel worried. Like, how much of a blind loyal trust do you have in this person? So Kamina is a bit worried on that side, and Momo is like, no, this isn't comic, this is reality, which is, a bit moving. Like, this is the thing, these are tropes, so there's a bit like a fictional aspect to it, but there's also, I mean, it's kind of like the man to dying trope is kind of ridiculous when you think about it's kind of like, a trope in stories. Then we also have the fact that, the whole, then we also have the whole I believe in him, psych out of I believe in him, I trust him kind of deal, like also kind of a trope. So it's kind of meant to be more realistic, but I don't know, again, it's kind of like one of those, fine, I get what Gosh is going for, but not really the best. And then we cut to Lady Nagant, who's, I guess, kind of talking to Rocklock as he kind of went up there to look at her. Because, again, remember, she is, like, super injured and all that. So you even, like, ignore the fact that she's taking an escaped a prisoner and all that. It's just the fact that she's literally beaten to a core. Like, even if, like, she cannot be expected to, alright, I did my job, return, alright, I have to go back. Like, now she's like, can someone please come and pick me up and take me to my room? I don't think my spine is together. I mean, okay, not saying that no God got any kind of injuries in the spinal line, but she couldn't move if she wanted to without some assistance from someone. Although to be fair, in the chapter she does look very nice. Like, not, I mean that one. I mean, like, in terms of like general physical damage or that, she doesn't look like any issue. Like, which is surprising. She was kind of bleeding because when she had like very few bullets, she could shoot very few bullets. But yeah, anyways, we didn't have like another. We have the whole again continuing with that more mythological, like not mythological, a more deep kind of thing about the true essence of being a hero kind of thing, where we have like, why is he going through with this more complicated and more difficult path? It's not just like a simple killing Shigaraki thing. Why not just go that path? Or is he delusional? Does he think it's just black and white and all that stuff, which I think Shigaraki says. I don't know if he says in this chapter or the previous chapter, but in one of the chapters he says, he refers to that like what the hell are you doing? Actually, I think it is this chapter before the final shot before we ended on. But basically, Izuku is looking for a more nuanced path solution. He looks more for a way to deal with his will, not by killing him or getting rid of him, but beating him or intimidating him to. It's like have him realize that it's pointless, and on Shiraki's own will, kind of ending it. Like, he finds out what Shiraki's past is and his origin and all that, and then he tries to reason with him so Shiraki will, say it's enough, it's time to stop, which, honestly, I could say it working, because in the fact, it does seem like All For One has something, and it's probably like All For One taking over or something like that, so I could see that coming, being a thing. So yeah, so that's what's kind of the nuance, but again, kind of feel like some people will criticize when it comes to Izuku and all that. But regardless, we have Izuku going for Shiraki, punching him and ending this chapter off with Izuku finally being able to get to the house that Shiraki when he was Tenko was living. So we end the chapter on that site, and we're gonna have more of it, and we'll get more into in depth with that world and all that, and where Izuku is right now because he is actively in that in front of the house a bit later. So we have to. So you have to wait until the end of the next for next week to get my thoughts on that because unofficial. I don't use unofficial when it comes to My Academia and One Piece and all those series. So yeah. Anyways, then we get now it's time for Four Nights of the Apocalypse, chapter 142, titled "A Sad Crossing." I would personally name "Wrong Timing." Wrong way to break this down. Did you two spend any of those 2 years, 2 months, whatever two was it, just actually trying to? Well, actually, I think it was 2 months or 2 years. Any of those 2 years thinking how you're gonna break this information down? Any thought at all? So yeah. Anyways, we start this chapter. Well, actually, I think the first important thing in this chapter is that we have Deanne and Teora having a bit of a conversation as they had. Well, actually, we started the chapter off with Sixes and Metre bringing the ferry back to bring the ferry back to their parents. You know, because that's a kind of important thing. Because luckily, it seems like once you were outside of that poison area. You could recover on your own, so this fairy baby and Park are safe and all that. With the two fairy parents being like, "Thank you, Lord Melcher, you're like an angel," say something nice because again, like people may have been making fun of Melcher because he doesn't resemble the parents. Is he truly their kid? And but with his actions, I mean, kind of like the unofficial Holy Knight captain. I think the last cover page or this cover page, like the one cover page, there's like one cover page where we have like Melcher leading the entire family and all that. So it's kind of he's the unofficial leader. If you want to say, it go like King, Diat, and then Mildred. There's a hierarchy. So he's still like a respected and liked individual in their kingdom. But as we have Mildred Sixes again talking about the drug of yore, about getting it from King or asking him if he could give him the drug of yore. Because even if it's just like, oh, you can function well health wise, it's like still be a bit closer to feeling like a part of the family because he doesn't resemble them. He has zero traits to a point he could literally be a god as far as traits are concerned because it's not like he can be a giant or fairy. Which one that Mildred does want to be a giant or fairy instead of a goddess, which is something which is fun. I mean, it's a bit more translation issue because the parents did not refer to him as an angel, but whatever. So yeah, anyways, we cut to Dia and Teori having that conversation as we basically find out that Teori is more than just a fan service comedy relief character. She was up to this point because she was one of she was surprisingly the second kid who realized that wait, is Nazian's is he our brother? Because we found out there was a bunch of rumors about Dia and King being victims of the changing incidents, which the fact that's the first child, like what the fuck is wrong with changelings? The fact they actually did that. Like, come on, people! Like the fucking fairy king and fairy and the giant and queen. Really, those are the two you're gonna still do a changing thing on their firstborn of all people? Because like not like there's like he's he has a fairy trait by having in the two different. He doesn't seem to be neither gender. He resembles you and father. Which Jennifer is like, oh, it's just appearance sake. Now, as she's also like personality sake, and also finds like he was abandoned by by his family. As the end kind of, I guess, wants to get like a bit of a, oh, okay, what exactly, okay, how exactly are we on the reaction thing? Is like, would you be angry if Nazian's was or not, wasn't your older brother? As Theo says, no, I like Nazian's, but I also like Meltre. So if Nazian's is my actual older brother, then what is Meltre then? How does Meltre fit? Basically, it's like, We've been siblings for our entire lives. You can't just we can't just get rid of him and replace it because Nonsense is the actual older brother, not the adopted older brother. Military is, and she even is crying. So yeah, there's a bit of a there's no animosity or negative feelings about it. It's just how do we feel? How does this affect the family? The fact they're technically two older brothers. And yeah, doesn't really answer to it yet because apparently again they didn't even think how they were gonna discuss this. Maybe they did. Like maybe we're gonna have a flashback. We have King at the end discussing like this is clearly our lost son, but how are we gonna break this down? And while we have that, we also have there's discussion. We also have Paul, the second youngest, the in between and the child listening to this because before this discussion we had like the other children having eating their dinner and they were like where did the when did mom and Tiori go, and then I guess they all decide to split up and look for the and Tiori, and Paul now knows, and this is gonna be and I'm guessing that she's gonna inform everyone. I mean, as informing the entire family about what the situation goes. This is actually a relatively these things, which it would be kind of funny. I know this, like, see how serious this is. It would be kind of funny if it's feeling like everyone's fine with Nazi and joining the family and all. It's just like, does Melch just stay? Because remember, like, which to be fair, if Melch, I don't think there's anything wrong with Meltre still being the oldest brother. Just like Nazians could still be like the second oldest, purely because how do I say this? Like, I mean, the short lifespan people have, like Melchior does, it makes him still the most mature of all of you. Like, he's 18, and he clearly is the most mature here. Like, not saying Sixes and Nazians are, like, immature or anything, but the two of them are not as, strong in charge guys as, as Melchior is. So yeah, anyways, we then cut to Sixes and Melcher going to King. I guess Sixes sensed King or something. It was at the top in their in that giant mushroom thing. As Melcher's like, "Are you certain that we should be doing this? I mean, the job of yours is a very important and sacred item. I would not want the king to waste it on me or something. Being the loyal son guy, making sense since that's who Miltra is. He isn't a That's also I feel like that's why he didn't initially say, "Hey, could I get the drug of yore?" Because he wasn't because he understands the importance of it. Again, kind of the unofficial Holy Knight captain here. Sixes tells him, of course father would not mind. After all, he's the kindest son around. As Meltre is happy, like, yeah, you're right. Father would definitely give his son, who is suffering from an illness that he has to take a drug, a cure every single day, this drug. And as they enter there, we have Sixes Nose and Nazians is there with King. As it's like, wait a minute, Meltre. Let's not go over there right now. As Meltre's like, what's going on? As in he looks at King and Nazians as we see King getting a drug of yore out from that, as we see like a little bottle, which funny enough the little bottle actually looks like the same bottle, was very similar to the drug that Elizabeth used in the Grudge of Edinburgh movie, and it's even kind of like a little waist spent, which I think was actually one of the reason why uh, Elizabeth initially broke the curse, because if I remember correctly, it was like Elizabeth's curse was broken, and then they showed up, and then before the guy managed to cast another one, she beat him. So yeah, I think that it's that one. So now King is giving it because there's still some left, so you can use it. I mean it's limited, but it's usable. So Naziant then as Miltre sees that action and thinks, wait, I've been suffering from that illness for so long, and yet King did not his own decide to give it. Like I mean, there's a bit of a debate if the drug of Yo would actually work on Melcher, because it's not like Melcher is not cursed. He's not poisoned. He is simply human in an area where humans cannot survive, or cannot live health wise. Actually, if you do think you die if you don't take those like pills that Milcher has been taking, but he cannot survive. But it's not an issue with Milcher; it's an issue with the environment. So this drug may not work, or will not work. But the thing is, none of them know that. I mean, it's a miracle drug that's supposed to be a very big thing, especially now where the Chaos Knights apparently do want this miracle drug. So I don't know. They might be thinking it could work, and I imagine they would know about the pills that Milcher is using at least. Now, or maybe they wouldn't. Like, we wish they knew about the drug of Yo, but not the regular pills that humans are using. So we have to wait and see on that front. So, anyways, Milcher sees that and is heartbroken. The fact this outsider or this again, Milcher, I feel like is aware or very subconsciously aware that Nauseance is his, well, is the actual firstborn because that is what he was kind of worried about. I think I'm not thinking pretty sure. I think chapter beforehand where like I don't look like don't look like you two. I do not have any of your fairy or giant traits. I am not. We we don't like what we banned the changelings for it. We have there's rumors about changelings. It makes sense. It explains so much, and then we have Nauseans who's like, this clearly would be their actual firstborn child. So Miltra is a little bit shooken, if you get my drift, by this information, and now this guy is confirming his suspicion. Like, Nauseance is the actual son, and it's clear that, King cares more about this son, despite, them badly being, which is another thing I was concerned about. Like, what would your thought be if your actual son, your actual changeling swapped son would show up? And this is like, oh, I would immediately give him. Well, okay, we'll get into this immediately a little bit quickly, but in a second. Basically, I'll immediately give him the drug of yours. So without any ask or anything, just here, the drug of yours. Here's how it works. You can use it on Percival. I mean, you need it, I'll give it. Which I don't think it would really work on Percival because Percival's soul left his body. So I don't really know why it would work, but well, left the baby's body, so I don't know why that would work. But regardless, he immediately gave the drug of Yor, and that heart broke Meltra as he's just jumping around and running away. As he's like, wait! I'm not sure if Sex is run after him or if Sex is also going to be confronting King because we have Nausean's reaction to drug of Yor being like, oh, thank you for telling me about the drug of Yor and offering it to me, but I don't want to take it. As he's like, wait, what? As he goes into his like bad state, I guess he and Nausean isn't shocked by it at all. But Nausean just brings up to him, first of all, why didn't you not bring this drug of yours beforehand? I've been making cure. I've been running around trying to make medicine to bring him back for 2 years. Why are you only now revealing this drug of yours that apparently you could use? I mean, it said that it remakes every thousands of years, but I'm not exactly certain that. But the fire does look to be the same one that was used not 16 years ago. So it's clear that this vial was always there. Just you're not be able to refill it immediately. So why did you not use it beforehand? Was it entertaining to watch me? If this does work, I don't know if it works, but if it does work. And second, if you do have such a miracle drug, why didn't you use it on your first son, the guy who needs to take pills every single day on a normal basis? Why not him? He would be way more necessary to be used on. And he doesn't even respond with any kind of logic. He's like he really not think how this works, which as the first like real father-son interaction there, because remember, Nausea was referring to him very formally before that. This is the most informal that Nausea has been with him by a long shot. The king is like, oh yeah. Like, these two haven't really prepared at all. Like, I mean, seriously, King, how did you plan on bringing this up? Like, there's even the information about him being the actual father here. Like, this is just him. Oh, I thought we could use this as like a big happy solution and bring back the family, but yeah, King really messed up. Really no preparations. He really just. Alright, if I gave him the drug of Yor, then then everything will be fine. They do probably talked about this. I wouldn't even be surprised if they did plan to do it previously, but maybe King just now decide on what would be the best course of action. But still, King, come on, dude, like, at least try to think, like, at least consider all the negative possibilities that will come from this, like explaining, oh yeah, I should have probably brought this as soon as Percival's situation got clear to me. Like, as soon as Percival was brought here, I should have really went for the drug, not, waste time for 2 years on the him making announcements, making some kind of drug that would solve it. And I should probably explain to Merchant that it will not work, or like break it down. Like, maybe I don't know if this is the best solution, but maybe what King should have done is bring the family in, like everyone, revealing this is the drug of yore. This is how it works. Now, as much as I would love to give it to Military to cure it because the rumors about you being half human, I still love you as a son. Like, I literally spent 18 years raising you and all that, and you are still staying as the older son. It's just Nazianz is back, and he's awesome, but he's my biological son, so I would like him, and I would want all of you to agree to have him be the second oldest son. Are we all on the same page? Is there any kind of... I'm looking at you, third son. You seem to be the jerk of the family. Is there any objection to having another older brother than you? Is there? No? Alright, good. I feel that would be the most effective way rather than, all this, like, secrecy and all that type of stuff. But I get it. They didn't know how to send the information. But again, it doesn't seem they at all were thinking about how this looks like. They're just kind of like, oh shit, we don't have to deal with this situation. Like, if this is getting resolved, it's gonna be resolved because everyone's gonna secretly find out from Foul, and everyone's gonna be, oh, we are fine with Meltres being the older brother, Nazianz being the new brother. We have no objections to that. There's there's nothing that. We are all supporting. We're all for it. It's just information is being very horribly. But yeah, anyways, while Matcha is leaving, crying and angry and despairing, from that scene, we see that Killwagon is actually sensing that despair and anger from Mildred. And he's starting to think, this will be useful. So, I first thought it was gonna be like the whole using Mildred to get in, to get the drug, but no, I feel like it might be unnecessary. He could just be transformed into a creature being using his rage and despair as manipulation and all that type of stuff. Because remember, like, it's not like actually asking about it. It was being offered and it's very limited, but it's not like he knows what's happened afterwards. Which if he knows, I feel like he'd probably be more, alright, I'm fine with nonsense being my little brother and all that. But we'll have to see on that thing. I think Kiblagon he might first try to get Miltray to lead them to the giant fucking mushroom or give him information, or he could just turn him to a chaos creature, which I feel like chaos creature would make more sense. Or it could just be, well, first manipulate him to get the drug, and then use the chaos staff to turn him into a chaos creature. Not entirely certain if having Miltray actually taking him to the thing would actually make sense for Melch's character at this point, even with despair and rage. But whatever, they are gonna be using Melcher for their scheme a bit. So yeah, anyways, then we have next chapter is Eden Zero, chapter 279, titled Super Ziggy. Ironically enough, he doesn't look anything like a Superman. And even more ironic enough, it's less about him because it's like the final couple chapter has. But who knows? With how this chapter ends up, I could see something horrible happening. But yeah, anyways, we start this chapter off with Rebecca and Shiki's reaction to their connection with Eden's Eden Zero breaking up. It's like did something happen? Or it doesn't matter. They're kind of like wondering, can you truly destroy the chronophage? Because the chronophage isn't like a normal attack. It's just punch in the air. But Shiki says like, that will be my last action, but my last job. But they're like, don't say it. You kind of sound like you're gonna die. This is Mushroom we're talking about. I doubt there's a chance he'll die. If anything, he would probably turn into a baby again. Which if that's the case, we're going back at the age of as well, so you will both be babies. Otherwise, we're gonna have a weird Melio situation going on. So yeah, Shiki says, "No, my last adventure," as they're getting ready. Then we cut to Eden Zero, where we have like the final matchups jobs beginning with like we have Chris telling Clean to go take the control of the ship because they are the only ones that can actually still fight. As we have Chris going up against Cole as he cuts him, saying if anyone tries anything, they'll get cut. But Cole is already cut to his ribbons. As he's like, "Oh, I guess I killed you immediately." Well, I mean, I wasn't expecting to be this effective on this. But Kyo just uses his powers to heal himself and regenerate. As Chris is like, "Alright, you have a regeneration. I remember you being very annoying." Because Cole seems to be like one of those characters whose problem comes more from just being very difficult to kill than anything else. So Cole is kind of like a living nightmare right now thing. But again, I might not say how much of a fight is gonna be. Like I'm trying to remember if there's any kind of move that was up right now that could have Chris defeat him, but I don't think so. Like the way I think defeated Cole last time was just that they overwhelmed him with the laser, the short him and Cole together, Cure and Cole together. So we'll see on that side. That's what's going to happen, but I'm not entirely certain if it's going to work. But yeah, Core is just going to. So yeah, we're gonna have Chris versus Core right now. I guess Clint's just gonna be fighting. I could still see her like joining in battle later. Like maybe it's gonna be like one of those things where Clint is gonna be tearing him apart as he's regenerating. Uh, Chris is gonna be cutting him more into shots, so he's not gonna be able to keep up and just be destroyed too much. But yeah, anyways, then we got to Homura, who I guess was the only other person to be freed. So Homura is going to look for Lady Freya. She senses Lady Freya in the spa room, and she enters the spa room with Lady Freya, who I guess jumped into that pool to absorb all the water or something. Because we have her first submerge in the spa, but then all the submerging goes inside of her and or gets away, and she's not like it's a bit of a comical scene, which I get. It's fair to well, it's Eden Zero and Mashima's writing, so it does make sense there'll be a bit more comedy there, but still kind of a weird kind of tension killer I've seen for someone who's been so far very serious, intimidating individual. So, anyways, we didn't have to get a bit of a backstory, which is nice because I don't think Lightning Law got any backstory. So we explained that Lady Freya was actually created in a planet with a bunch of humans that were in a war against one another, and she was going to be a weapon there, but she didn't like it, so she destroyed both sides. She killed like 1.6 billion people or something as she got done. So all that like weaponry, all that swordsmanship, all that thing that was put in her, which honestly feel has to be thousands. Like, alright, I mean, she does look a bit newer in this chapter because in the last chapter she seemed more ancient, and she still has like a similar design. It just I don't know, it just feels like it's not one to one exactly. It just maybe it's the way she talks, and that's the reason why I feel like she's talking more modern or more newer than how she was in the last chapter, where she seemed more ancient, like one of the dancing knights of the Sakura. Like that was my favorite at least because it kind of makes sense. Like she looks ancient, she kind of gives me the Zenai vibe. But no, she's no. Again, she might still be very old. Like again, her design does look like an old model type of design would look like. But regardless, that's the information that she gives us. As then we get Mashima doing like one of his biggest mistakes, where he wants to hype Lady Freya by having her at the beginning of the chapter, or beginning of this conversation with Homura, being so fast with her swordsmanship that she cuts all of Homura's clothing off, fan service, of course, without Homura even seeing the blade. Which I get it, it's supposed to hype her up, but the more powerful and the more gap that Mashima gives to Homura versus Lady Freya right now, it's more gonna be a pain in the ass when Homura is gonna pull some kind of BS power friendship thing uh, when she beats her in like one chapter after getting like one blow or two blows or three blows in. Like, Mashima, that's the kind of thing. He hypes characters up, but then they get defeated like, like three blows. When you really break it out, it's like, it's comical how quickly they get defeated as soon as like there are a few direct hits. So, yeah, Mashima, I really don't think you should have made this gap big. Like, I'm not even like I don't even have a problem with the fan service aspect of having Homura fight naked because legitimately speaking, it does make sense. It was kind of foreshadowed with Homura fighting naked in the spa room. Because there is a thing. Like, I think she at least on four separate occasions wanted to fight someone in the in the spa immediately naked. So it's not surprising that this would happen. It's kind of like I think when her and Rebecca first shared the spa, when her and when Homura and Azra were in, Homura, Elsie, and Rebecca were in there. She wanted to fight Azra there. I think there was another time when she wanted to fight her there in the spa. And then there was the with her teacher one time. Like Homura finding in the spa naked has been a running theme in the story, has appeared multiple times in the story, so it's not surprising that she will fight Lady Freya naked in the spa. It makes sense, but still. It was unfair to Mehmet because the spa has like ether boosting abilities that she might also that might give her a boost to defeat Freya, but that would still be a little BS kind of thing. But yeah, we then cut to Void versus Ziggy, as we had like a few clashes and a few like little built-in matchups. Like Ziggy and Void's even amongst gravity fighters, but when it comes to our abilities, Void has time powers, so he can get more, take advantage of it. And he does get a good hit in, but Ziggy just goes into his Demon Lord uh, overdrive form and then ends the chapter by punching through Void. I don't think this is the end of Void because he's kind of like the main guy for the villain, so it'd be kind of weird if he got taken down before Core and Lady Freya got taken down. Like those two literally just started their fights, and Void's already down, so I don't think so. I feel like he might go up again. There has to be more. Plus, there was like no. I don't think Void even went into overdrive yet, so I imagine this hit is not gonna matter much because he's technically more hollow. So I could see him being damaged, but then going overdrive and giving him more fighting against Ziggy and all that kind of clash. So we'll have to see, and I think it's just like a cool way to end this chapter. But yeah, that's the end of this chapter. Then we get to Chainsaw Man, chapter 150, a titled Gyokne Guillotine. Gyokne is just what the Guillotine Devil speaks. And I'm a mix on the Guillotine Devil. So yeah, we start this chapter by getting some kind of uses of Fami's ability where she has like a piece of meat or something and she throws it down and she spawns the Guillotine Devil. Now I'm not certain exactly if this is the piece of meat of the Guillotine Devil itself and she's just like forcibly can bring it to her because she did kind of a similar thing with Fam with the Fallen Devil. As even explained, these with her powers, these devils are not as powerful as they were. So it does make me think that she might have some kind of more freeform way to summon devils, whichever devil she wants. But they are not as powerful. Like that's kind of the job. She can have every devil come and do her bidding for a bit, but all of those devil, or for a time being, because the Fallen Devil had like a select number of people that she needed to feed to someone or a time limit. I mean, it was a time limit to how many people she could feed. Well, time limit to how long she could, much time she could use to prepare everyone to be fed to a certain level. So I feel like it makes sense that with that. So it might be different, but it might still reconnect. Like but maybe that's a fallen down. So I would imagine it would be a bit harder to get on the side because again, like if we assume that a family can just get a piece of can make meat for everyone, every devil on her own, that can be used like a summoning way. I could see the guillotine being like a thing where these primordial devils are just too powerful to do it on their own. So I could see that being the reason why Fami needed to was on. So I could see this being a reason why she had to make special conditions for the primordial devils. Well, this current devil, guillotine devil, is probably just like a regular devil. It's probably high, but I would put it like in middle when it comes to devils. It's probably not that even more difficult. So I could see him be like able to be more respawnable, assuming family can just respawn like these little pieces of meat for any devil, and not something like she needs to take a piece of the devil or not, because I do think the piece of meat of the devil does disappear as soon as she summons it, but I'm not entirely certain. Regardless, the Guillotine Devil is a human skeleton inside of like big like cloaked with a bird hat with wings and kind of going around like a giant cloak with a guillotine I think also a guillotine hanging from with the skeleton. I'm not entirely certain about it. I think there is one. Like I need to reach. I should have probably rechecked it, but I generally know the basic of it. But anyways, the guys, the soldiers trying to shoot at them, but the guillotine just like cuts through it, and family says kill them, but unfortunately because that was a lot weaker, and maybe there's he's also maybe a higher level, so maybe it's like difficult to give specific orders for her to follow, which again makes sense if we can assume that she can summon whatever demon she wants, whatever devil she wants. But God as the devil just destroys everyone's clothing, and they're like, oh no, please don't kill us. But yeah, that's how we get the guillotine, and the guillotine devil just followed the whole thing, so it's just being Yohe. So yeah, anyways, then we have someone trying, like some dude, even though he's naked, trying to punch Asa, but Asa managed to block it, and Yu takes over, and he knocks the guy down, and he was a bit surprised that Asa was able to, block it, as Asa like, yeah, I was training, so by basic standards, well, I was, in a lot of combat recently, so on basic standards, my body is gonna be able to do a bit of these more feats, even if I'm not as good as you are. So yeah, there's a bit of a sisterly bond between us and Yu, which is nice to see. So yeah, anyway, the guy backs, please don't kill me. As Yo's like, lick my boots. I mean, she is mocking my sister, so it makes sense. So yeah, anyways, then we get the cannon father. I mean, the leaders of the Chainsaw Man Church, who I guess also they arrested. Not entirely certain they reverted back after time from being turned to chainsaws, or if there was something else coming out. I guess they, in all the chaos, they got accidentally released, or maybe they planted some bombs or something in them for to like you think, oh, we cannot stop Fami and you and Asa from saving them, but we can make it so they don't get anything from it. So it's like you self-destruct type of stuff, because I think they're like, we must not let them escape, and now they're wandering here. So kind of a weird thing, but whatever. Anyways, we have the three of them. We have the main guy. We like, Rami, you, and they're like trying to like be kind of like, no, we don't want to go with you. You've destroyed our lives. You destroyed our country. You destroyed our families. You destroyed everything. You're out of the devil hunting club. As Asa and Issa and family are like, sure, don't come. We don't care. We don't care about you losers. It just happens that you guys are here as well. Like, honestly, I didn't even know. Honestly, I'm surprised you guys are even here. We didn't even look a bit in it. And they was like, wait, you're not here for us. And I think Asa took over from that. It's just like, yeah, we're just here for Chainsaw Man. So you guys are your own. Bye. As they Fami, Euro, Asa, and the Guillotine never run. But those cannon for imbeciles also run with them because they want to meet Chainsaw Man. I mean, you guys are kind of fun regardless of how you look at it, but whatever. Asa needs a new arm. Like, let's be honest. So she needs a new arm, a new sword. I mean, you guys are very necessary to die for Asa's weapons. You'll be beneficial that way, can't father. As Asa is like, they're following us? Seriously? Which just kind of look like they saved them, but they don't. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I could see in the next chapter they get blow up. Or I could see them like being able to be blown up by Asa, like just running into weapons and use them as weapons. So yeah, these guys are falling to die. Like no one gives a shit about them. Honestly, I'm honestly not even dying that we saw those three imbeciles all. Like I know the leader, we saw him. I think I remember seeing that skinny dude, but the big guy with one eye, I don't think we've seen that. I'm not that sure we saw him. Maybe I'm forgetting. I'm probably blanking it. Maybe it was a chapter or two, but no one gives a shit. They're just there to die or be turned to weapons. Which is only in that sense. I do believe people die if Asa turns them into weapons. So yeah, that's it for Chainsaw Man this week. As then we cut to penultimate chapter this week, as it's Ruri Dragon, chapter 8, titled "To Play Hard." Do not worry, people. It's a literal sports metaphor. It's not anything dirty. We are not going 7 deadly sins with characters yet. I repeat, we are not 7 deadly sins. Or 100 girlfriends. I really love you. Or any kind of Yuri anime that features questionably aged girls, or at the very least weirdly young girls. I feel would or Yuri is my job also count as a weird as one of those. We are going with those. Like, I admire magical girls. We are not going there yet. So yeah. Anyways, in this one we kind of have Yuri and Ruri and her mother kind of going to try to deal with the electricity, to deal with some of the processes, or is guessing how they can deal with it. Personally, I would just say, your first priority should be getting to the father and telling him every possible ability that dragons could have, so you will at least know what to expect. Because like the guy may not know, like the dragon that may not know exactly how things are gonna manifest, how things are gonna work, but he should at least know. I mean, just saying, it would be kind of a problem if Rui would accidentally get claws in her on her hands before if things go. Wait, don't? No, I think it's just a koi fish to a dragon thing. But regardless, like I think you should at least do something for it beforehand. But still, we'll have to wait. But regardless, there is no planning like that at all in this. So yeah, you really they're just gonna try to deal with it. Anyways, we have find out that Rui's mother actually bought a bracelet that would able to give Rui a bit more of a I don't control, but like more of a condense of electricity because they were first going to leave in a car, but then Rui's electricity hit and almost they don't want to blow up. They're in a car. You want to put a stack of electricity being in a car. So they're gonna try to use that color to like get more of a control or knowledge on the weaponry as the two of them are before the two of them are leaving, so there wouldn't be any accidents. So, anyways, the two of them go into a little sports center for people to like get a bit of exercise in. As we're like, wait, why are we here? Why are we doing this? As we have the two, her saying like we're gonna be trying to train your body so you'll be more prepared and to get to release all of them because it's a Saturday, so we probably would want to release all of your issues so we don't get like a problem when it comes to how many powers so you don't have like an overload on birds or something like that because it's a Saturday finally, so we should probably use that to our extent. So anyways, we didn't have just a little scene with the two of them like playing basketball and Rui's mother just completely dominates her. Like you're being way too easily dominated by your 36, I believe she said to herself. So yeah, they have that, but Rudy is a bit happy that she gets like this mother-daughter day because they didn't really have it much. Like the way that the first chapter and especially the one shot made the mother look very like, oh yeah, I have a daughter. Hey, daughter, why do you have horns? Oh, you want you just grew to you tonight, huh? That's night, huh? All right. Anyways, see you later. I'll go to work. If you want, you can stay at home. I don't care. So it's not that we get this like more caring mother thing with her. So it's continuing. So it's a trend, like seeing her work and and I'm having this mother day and it's having fun. As we have the two go into a tennis match, and again, Rui's getting demolished. But Rui's kind of getting annoyed, so she's like, but now she's also kind of determined after she like is happy about the day, about uh, using her powers fully, which makes me think there might be a certain level of happiness and joy that's causing her to get electricity out because I think she was also very happy on the day before her electricity initially take a shock in it. So who knows? I mean, I don't think she was not happy in the beginning of the chapter, but whatever. She is using electricity again, and we're gonna see the consequences of it. If it's just gonna be like, oh, chocolate, which is gonna initially kind of scare her, or if this is gonna be like a color's gonna hit in to prevent that, or hopefully there'll be no injuries. With stuff like this, it's very likely that she could accidentally injure her mother, which I don't know. That's the thing. When these powers randomly gonna show up, they are always gonna be a danger. Like the guy with like the fire incident could have been a lot more dangerous than it was. The electricity was a lot more dangerous than it was. could have been a lot more dangerous than it was if it was on different conditions. Like, even if it's something as simple as like manifesting claws, it could be extremely dangerous if she's holding tightly to something. So she has to be careful on that side. But anyways, we that's the end of the chapter. We'll see on how things are gonna go. Now that's the final chapter of this week that I've read, and hopefully this is gonna be on the only last chapter that we are gonna be adding to this list because there's a lot of things already. As we have Time Stop Hero chapter 47, titled Airspace and Stop. So I mean not much of an airspace, but still quite a bit of an air in the air. As we started this chapter off where we last week with the Fury being revealed to be turned to stone, and Seika's a bit panicky as the Ice Witch is analyzing a bit, and they're like, "Wait, what's going on?" As we have Brave Sekai being a bit like, "Wait, what? We can't. What's the point of the adventure if I can't adventure with Fury? This is bullshit, bullshit!" And she's like getting a panic attack when she's just touching and groping and putting panties down to calm himself as he shows up next to where DCS was. Like, what the hell is up? Why is Fur to stone? And this is like, I don't care. It was a necessary sacrifice for the benefit of our species. As you can't do anything because this barrier is impenetrable. As we have Sekai saying, "Oh, you think I won't need a vehicle in 1,000 years? Well, guess what? That's what we will be doing." As we got to him, like very one of those shots where it's clear he's been spending days doing stuff as he has like a bunch of weapons on the floor as he was shirtless a bit, which is kind of kept obscure, which makes me think it's gonna be revealed in one chapter. He's actually really bulky after all this attempts at killing DCS or getting around the barrier. But because he like did count how many days he spent like this. So yeah, he's like CK is like, all right, I spent 1,000 days trying to get around the barrier. I've cooled my head afterwards, and now I'm a bit more relaxed. I have to analyze the situation and think about it clearly. So yeah, he's then kind of goes back to regroup with everyone else to like go come up with an actual plan to get rid of the the whole thing that's going on with Theseus and all the elves being turned to stone because they need to save them because they're not dead, but they could be dying pretty quickly. So yeah. Anyways, then we have the ship that they were on expanding so high up that the realm of darkness is actually no longer covering them. They are now in the day of they're now in the normal daylight. So there's a limit to how much high realm of darkness goes, which these just comments like even the realm of darkness doesn't go that high. Which I imagine it does still go high, but it's not like in the outer space. It's like I imagine. Wait a minute. No one goes to exactly how far these fantasy worlds are going. So how are we gonna be able to get? So what exactly would the creators have made for this game to be able to get that high or in that realm? As we also find out that the Darklings in the realm of darkness can actually die if they are in outside of the realm of darkness, which is something that Zaza mentions, like, oh shit, here we can actually die. Here's an actual problem. We can revive ourselves. As she panics a bit about it, as her and her changing are still her darklings are still fighting it in the nude, of course. So yeah, as then we have DCS. As then we have a giant bird that from the celestial civilization that are kept obscure with only like glowing lights being there, as this is like, oh yes, I knew it. I wasn't just some crazy religious figure. What I was saying was true. No, I will be the bridge that will connect our world to the celestial world. I am the greatest. As DCS just gets killed immediately because the celestial nations aren't there to welcome them into their world, but actually to kill them to prevent them from emerging in the air. As they are shooting down at them, and one of the things they first hit was DCS. CS, like half of his barrier, and he got destroyed in that other half and died immediately. Great job, Theseus. You are one of those villains whose plan was so fucking dumb that you would actually fail by simply the fact that they would not accept you. Great job, Theseus. Yo, the best elf villain ever. But yeah, anyways, we have then Seika is basically like, alright, it's clear that we can't do anything. The only option now is for me to die. Maybe we'll restart. Like, it's not likely, but that's the only option. It might have been fireworks, but this isn't a good ending. You know, it's like one of those. This is probably gonna be like one of those multiple endings kind of deals. Like, there's multiple solutions to it, but it's like the bad ending kind of deal. That's a bad solution for the problem. But luckily, Furry's little sister uses her holy prayer, which is so powerful that it sends for the entire village all the darklings away. Like, Zaja is just thrown off the place and is plummeting down with one of the darklings who can fly, grabbing her and saving her life. Although, to be fair, if she did fall, I think she would just fall straight to the ground darkness, and assuming that darklings from that like Zaza are all capable of operate the same way as those shadow darklings operate. I feel like she would be able to survive that, but commander, caring about the commander, keeping the commander safe, that kind of deal. So I'm assuming that's the. Also, I guess this is the reason why the witches were able to get to experiment and kill the darklings, because they would not be in the realm of darkness, shadow, so they would be able to do that in their regular world. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why the darkness has to expand, because they cannot do anything against it normally. So yeah, that's gonna get rid of the darklings, which I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're pointless because of they need to be open on the barrier, but it's kind of weird how we don't really get much. I mean, I guess there's more lore to it, get more of an explanation, and second, more realizing, like, oh, what exactly the darklings want. So maybe this will be brought up late in the future. So it seems like the celestial beings might be the actual main villains of the saga of this universe, not the darklings. But we have to wait and see, because next couple of arcs are not actually, because next arc doesn't revolve around darklings or the celestials at all. It revolves actually around witches. So we'll see if those two are gonna get connected some way. But so far, it's not the case. So yeah, anyways, with all that going on, Sekai actually gets like analyzed thing. Is that my F really the only option? As in, he kind of thinks about all the information that's been brought up, all the things that we're mentioning, and one of those things that's very difficult to keep track of and make connections from a how do I say it, from a perspective of monthly manga, because you need like all the information in front of you right now, and monthly manga usually things you'll forget any details on. So Sekai is a bit like, wait a minute, I think I got the solution for this. He gets like an epiphany, which makes me think this is gonna be like one of those. He realized, oh, this is a multi-ending story, so I could restart the story and end it with a different way or something like that, or logic like that. And we like discover what he actually has to do, which is probably to make Fairy's sister to be the actual chief, because she's insanely powerful for her age, and amongst other elves. Like, she is here while everyone else is here, with the average being here kind of deals. I'm assuming, at least that seems to be kind of implied. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. So we'll see on how this is gonna solve in maybe 2 months until the next chapter comes out, or maybe more. I don't know. Maybe this month. I don't know, like it's like some of these monthly series so weird when it comes to their releases. Like, they're a couple of chapters always back, and they're also very kind of like, there's no guarantee they're gonna be out every month released in English. So we have to wait and see on that side. But right now, Sekai got an epiphany and knows what he has to do to solve the situation. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you like this. My thoughts on the chapters I read this week. I hope you leave your thoughts on these chapters in the comments below. Also, tell me what you read this week. And with that said, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time.